Okay, the next couple of videos are going to focus on creating arrays in different ways. We know how to create an array with the basic, square brackets. We initialize the array with some values or empty. But now we're going to use loops to create an array, and that allows us to build some larger arrays. Okay, we'll look at building arrays with identical elements in them, random elements, and number patterns. Okay, so let's go to here, and actually we'll minimize that and get my sandbox open. So create arrays using loops. So the main algorithm here, okay, the main algorithm we're going to be using is we start with an empty array, and then we're going to loop, and inside of the loop we add elements to the array. Right? So it's an empty array, and then you loop and you say, let's add something to the array, and then we'll add something to the array, and then we'll add something to the array. And that allows us to build larger arrays. So let's do that. Let's just do let happy array, and I'm going to do it as start as an empty array, and then I'm just going to loop. I'm going to loop 100 times. So I'm just going to create a variable n, start at 1, n is less or equal to 100, n plus semicolon n plus plus. And this loop should run 100 times, right? From 1 to 100. Now, I don't really care what this variable is. I'm just using n as a placeholder for like number, whatever. Actually, what I've seen some people do is because we're not using this variable, they'll just do like an underscore. And this is technically a valid variable name. And it's kind of a way to show that, you know what, I don't care what this variable is. I'm not going to use it. I'm just using my loop as a counter. I think that looks kind of weird. Well, I don't mind it that much, but I just got into the habit of using n. Okay, and then we're going to go happy array dot push, and now I can push whatever I want inside of here. So in this case, I'm going to push the word happy. That's why I called it a happy array. And that should do it. So if this code runs now, I can go here and I can check what's in my happy array. And there you go. It's 100, or it has 100 elements, and it's the word happy over and over again. And of course, you can put whatever you wanted in here, right? You can put words, you can put numbers, right? Let's say I put 34. I don't know why. It's a happy array full of 34s. It's its favorite number, and now it's happy because it has its favorite number 100 times. And of course, if you wanted more times, we could do 1,000 times. Ta-da! What's the happy array? It's got 1,000 occurrences. And you'll see, because it's so large, it breaks it up into groups of 100. Okay, cool. So that's identical, right? Pushing identical values. Now we could also push random values, which reminds me, well, okay. Yeah, I'm going to pause the video for a second. I want to get my random library set up here. So 1 second. Okay, so I just got my random library.js, right, that has this random des function, random int function, and random RGB function. And I made sure in my index that I loaded the random library and then my main.js. So now inside of here we have access to those random des, random int functions. And that's because if I wanted to make a random decimal array, I could create it as an empty array. I could loop, let's say, 50 times, and instead of pushing the same value all the time, we're going to push, say, a random decimal between 5 and 8. Okay, and I think this is inclusive, this is exclusive, so it should go up to 7.999. All right, so let's run this. Oh, random des has already been declared. What did I just do? Oh, did I load it twice for some reason? Has already been declared. Random des, random int, random RGB. Okay, I'm going to pause. Sorry, I was just having a brain fart, I guess. I named the variable the same name as the function, so it's saying you can't do that. Okay, so let's just call this my random array. And then I'm going to, and I didn't even change this too. I still had happy array. Okay, pay attention. Random array dot push a random decimal. That's what we want to do. Okay, so create an empty array, push to that empty array, and this will return a random decimal. Now we should be good. So let's look at our random array, and there we go. 50 values, and it looks like they're all between 5 and up to, but never including 8. 7.96. Awesome. Okay. And then, of course, we could change this to random integers, and if I did between 2 and 10, let's say, this should get me any value up to 10, so the highest value would be a 9. And then, of course, change that to 500. You can get 500 array, 500 random numbers. Ta-da! Okay, what else was there? Identical elements, random elements. Oh, and then number patterns. Right? Let's say we wanted to generate an array with number patterns. Maybe we want to position something on our canvas, and we want to, set them out into an even pattern. So what I'll do here is let's change this to a pattern array. And this time, so again, it's the same algorithm, right? It's the create an empty array, and then we loop and push things to the array. This time, I'm going to actually use this n variable. So let's say I want to space something out starting at 50 and space it out every 20, and then I want it to stop at like 200 or something like that. Okay. So then I would go n plus equals 20. So the idea here is just use your for loop to generate a pattern of numbers. So 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, etc., 150, 170. I guess we can stop at 190. And then what goes inside of the push is just n. Right? The loop, the variable is generating that pattern of numbers, and we're going to push that pattern of numbers into the array there. And now if I look at my pattern array, it is that series of numbers. 50, 70, 90, 110, etc. And of course you can change what I want to start at 10, and I want to go up to 530. And now if we check in here, it started at 10 and went up to 530. Okay, and of course you can go backwards as well, right? You can count, subtract, and count down and do different patterns, and yeah, that's that. Okay, so creating arrays, we can create larger arrays using loops. We start with this empty array, and then we loop and we push things into the array, and that creates a larger array. Okay, hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.